Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. We're jumping in the queue, and let's go see what's live. Meowth versus the System, or, oh, Temron is playing, versus Vicarin, some tier 9 player, whom I don't think I've seen before. And I guess it's probably been a while since Temron played, since he's rated quite a bit more low than his skill level, so I assume he's on like vacation penalty or just been doing quite badly recently. And I also just haven't seen him around in a while, so. What's going on here? Are we gonna beat the Breach Proof here? It seems like Arca is pretty good against 10 damage. And then you switch to Colossuses, and then it's just like, oh my god, yeah, Temron's gonna murder this guy. Yeah. Well, we'll probably get matched with Temron before long, if I had to guess. But in the meantime, let's hop into Meowth versus the System and see how that game's going. Look at that, it's Temron. Base plus 9, 60 seconds. I see a lot of soak. Holy cow, is there soak in this set? The main thing that bothers me here is Odin. Like, if you try to go for something... Player 2 just has a really nice Odin line with Trinity drones is the problem. And normally, like, player 1 has a pretty good one, but with Trinity drones, I believe player 2's is better. And so, I don't know, we might... I'd really like to get Bombarders, and, like, that's a blue sync. And so, like, the Odin is less of an imposition than usual. And, like, there's also Chieftain. This is gonna be a long game. Wow. I guess I have to go third Engie. I don't know what the details of the line are gonna be. But I want pretty much every color and probably every unit? I might be skipping a couple of the red things. I don't know if I want... You want a Smorkus eventually, someday, but you probably don't want it right away. What can I do to make opponents' early Odin less of a problem? I guess I can just get like my Odin a bit slower and buy a Trinity at some point. It's like, yeah. If I buy like a Conduit instead of that first Blast Forge, I can squeeze in one extra drone and then get the Odin a turn later than I normally would, but have down like at least a wall or a doomed wall or something in the meantime. Yeah, of course. Although, I don't know. Do you actually still want the third engineer? I think you do, right? I learned to understand the Trinity drone economy situation a little bit better recently, discussing it on the Discord. I thought I knew it pretty well, but actually, like, I didn't quite understand what the idea was of, like, yeah, this Conduit is sort of like a drone, but it's a $4 drone. Kind of. That's still good. A drone that costs $4 instead of 3 in an energy is great when you can fit it in. But if you want a lot of drones, you should just buy an NG and then like get the Conduit next turn and you've drone more. So I don't know. This is more of like a I don't want a third NG line, which I think you should want. In the past, I would have done this, but I now think that this is the wrong way to approach a high econ set, even with Trinity drone. Right? See, like, this transposes to having gotten... I don't know. I think this is just... Well, sure. I think this is worse than getting the third engineer sooner. But I'm not actually sure. Is opponent going so slowly that I can actually get first Odin without this Trinity drone? Right? Like, he can't threaten it next turn, and I can threaten it 2 turns from now. if I don't get this conduit. Maybe even if I do. I'll have 16, 17. I'll spend 2 on a drone. Is 15, and then triple conduit. But I'll only have 18 income. Sorry, triple blast forge. Yeah, so I can't do that if I get the conduit. But I think that with all the defense here, it's okay not to get the first Odin, and I just want to squeeze in more econ. He'll be able to get first Odin, and that's just gonna have to be okay with me. Maybe he doesn't want it. I think Odin's pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna keep econing up here any more than I have to. I'm just gonna get a splitter here. I know a militia's good, but next turn I already have all my blue budgeted away. So I want to have an absorber for next turn. This, I don't know, I guess this just makes him kind of want to build a wall. Is that good? Should I just get a wall myself? If I got a wall, I could throw in another drone. It makes his militia, like, much better next turn, but I think I just have to be okay with that. Yeah, I think it's worth to get the extra drone in. And I'll also be able to get in the first Animus for bombers, which is, I think, a pretty big deal. I'm surprised he didn't play this better to not have to hold a drone here. I really, really want this Animus, even though it means I'm wasting blue this turn. Oh, I'm not. Just buy 3 splitters? Maybe buy a doomed wall and I'm short money for that. I was thinking buy a doomed wall and 2 splitters and hit him in the face with Odin, which is certainly a play. But I can't get the 2 splitters. I'd have to like float a blue to do that, and I don't think that's worthwhile. I don't know about these militias. I guess they're going to be okay against a polywall or a doomed wall if I ever hit those. So they do cause me a little bit of consternation, you might say. Wow, wouldn't it be so cool if I could get a chieftain here? But I can't really. I think it's probably Tarsier time still? He's gonna leave back 4 attack, presumably, which means attack. I'm gonna have a wall and an NG left. I think 1 drone is fine. Bomber's gonna drag out the game, and so will all this prompt blue soak. Yeah, this is one reason I was thinking of getting the Tarsier instead of the Rhino, is because I can attack for just 6 into the polywall if I hold both the Bomber and the Odin. So he doesn't get it, fine. Yeah, he threatens to attack for like exactly 6, so polywalls are off limits to me. That's the nice thing about these militias, I guess, for him. What if I just got a rhino here? And said, yeah, go ahead and click everything. You'll kill my rhino. I don't think he can actually do that. That way I don't have to force field. Yeah, I mean, he's doing the same thing right now with his rhino. Which is, I mean, that's not really an argument for or against, it's just a note, like, something I was thinking about. You know, if my opponent is doing a thing, it's not totally insane, is a way to double check yourself sometimes. Yeah, Corpus is pretty cool, but Bombarder is way cooler. Okay, he's gonna call my bluff and kill the rhino. Well, go ahead, I guess. I think it might be okay for me to just exploit the polywall here. Attack for 7. It does 2. It attacks the Doomed Wall for just 1, but it means it takes me longer to cash in the Bombarder stamina. I'm not so sure. He still threatens to attack for exactly 6 pretty easily, so yeah, I'd really love to attack with these though, just to get the soak coming faster. I really don't like buying that because he can exploit it, but it gets me this. Like, it gets me the extra bomber, right? Which I think is pretty good. On the other hand, attacking for 6 is just so great for him. Yeah, maybe I'll do this instead. Hopefully this bomber train lets me actually not need those 2 NGs and I can invest in like chieftains or something. Opponent's doing a good job of no, he canceled the husks. Or the corpus. He floated all his red last turn? I was gonna say he was doing a good job of managing his red, but looks like no, actually. I'll probably want to click Odin this turn. Since I have a bomber back to absorb anyway. Plus it kills his husk, the corpus, which is kind of nice. That'd be so nice, wouldn't it? Look at that, it works. I could even put in another force field to guarantee this rhino lives, but I think just building an NG is probably better. I'm very jealous of my opponent's chieftains, but I'm keeping my bombarder train going instead, and that's fine with me. Good Smorkus, sure. I'll probably have an easy time exploiting his chieftains, actually, won't I? Just hold a bomber or something? Like, he'll be absorbing for 10-ish, and he'll also have a polywall up. So I think he might have trouble getting value out of these. I hope so. Sure. Okay, I guess he's going to try to deny me any Doomed Wall value, but I don't think clicking these militias is really something he's looking forward to. I can click all 3 of these to kill what exactly? Deal 5 damage, kills Bombarder NG? Doesn't seem all that great. 16 for me is easy, easy money. Right? Like, even if he clicks everything, I have this defended easily. And I can actually get a chieftain, which is great. Yeah, that's right. No more doomed walls for you, buddy. Or poly walls. Hang on. There we go. I should have just let Q do it. Q knows what to do. Good work, Q. He's not losing any attack here, right? Right. Maybe this Bombarder is too greedy. It's time to get the Smorkus. And 2 walls. Seems good. Opponent is, yeah, not losing any attack, unless I click with the Odin, which I can't really do. Seems fine. Seven, 8, 9. Okay, I guess I'm not actually denying. Oh, I am denying Chieftain Absorb if he builds a poly wall. Yikes. That seems dangerous. Right? Like, I can even just hold this. And, like, sack it a turn early if I want. I don't know. I don't know what emote to give you back. Sorry, buddy. All right. That was a cool game. I think that, like... So first of all, I want to look at whether I actually have grown to understand Trinity Drone better, or if I've just convinced myself of that. So one thing I want to do in the analysis here is compare the line my opponent took with a third NG, then conduit line. But we can do that later. Walling into militias feels pretty bad, obviously, but I think it was important to have an absorber out to let me get the Odin. Well, so that the militia doesn't get 2 pot shots against me, right? Like, if I build another steel splitter, or sorry, if I don't defend and just build a splitter, I don't know. I would have liked to get a splitter, but it costs $1 more, right? What can you do? And the money was useful to me right away because I got to build a drone, and drones are good when you have all this soak. So, this might have been a mistake. I'm still not really sure what the best plan was this turn. But okay, we both get the Odins. And I don't know, did he just like miscalculate here? Why would you build a drone instead of an NG? You know I'm going to be attacking for 7 next turn, and that this is not going to be defended. And you'll have to hold the drone. So, why not an NG? Because this turn, the drone is basically like a $3 engineer, isn't it? So I think, since you built engineers this turn and a drone last turn, if you switch the order of those 2 things, don't you just do better? Do you? Maybe it's the same. I guess it is the same. Over the course of those 2 turns, you spent $5 on Drone Engie. You got no money from either of them, and they're both still alive at the end. Okay, fair enough. So a drone that you're buying to hold back against threat is fine, I guess? I don't know. I haven't derived any deep meaning from that yet. But I think that, like, letting me get the first Odin and the first Animus and all that was very dangerous. Opponent also bought some bad polywalls, I think. Did I actually... What did I... Did I get a chance to do something against this polywall? No, I just attacked. These splitters, huh? Like, I think some of these should have been malicious. When I bought them, I was thinking, like, you know, Odin ammunition, and something you can hold back to defend or absorb on, you know, as the game devolves. And I didn't really foresee any particular need to click militias when I bought these. But that's like crazy. There's so many good reasons to click militia in this set with Polywall and Doomed Wall. Especially with like Bombarder as attack that you can hold. Having militia to also be holdable is pretty cool. Also this Tarsier, like... Kind of thinking it should have been a Rhino, huh? Yeah. Because, like, okay, he showed up. Great. But, like, I was having to force field already by this time, and I really would have appreciated a Rhino body by now. And, having attacked a bit more in the meantime would have been pretty cool. On the other hand, like, I spent the $1 that the Tarsier saved me. So, you know, if I'd gotten that Rhino, I couldn't have gotten this one. Not totally clear to me. Well, maybe I would have, I just couldn't have gotten the 3rd conduit. Not sure if this exploit was worth it. Probably was, right? Like, yeah, this is a ton of stuff to click to just kill 5 health worth of stuff. Right, deal 8 damage to kill 5 health, not so great. Given that that's 8 damage you can cash in later. Yeah, I think that especially the presence of Militia made Bombarder a better choice than Chieftain. Like, sure, you'd love to have both. But Bombarder is more flexible. You can, like, if your opponent has threat, you can, like, the 0 stamina Bombarder can just stay there as long as you need it to, whereas, like, the Chieftain dies off regardless. Okay, so let's go look at this opening. And I'm just going to make us both player 2 here so we can compare the lines more directly. Right, so here's what opponent did. Of course, you both killed DD, but... did this, and I'm proposing this. Did he get a forge here? He did, for the militia, yeah, okay. And we'll click this because why not? And let's say I also want the forge. Now we've both taken our turn 4, I think, yeah. And what does this line have? It has 17 income. Sorry, yeah, 17 income plus a green income. here, we have 16 income plus 2 green income. So it's the same net amount of stuff. But you have Trinity Drone plus Conduit instead of 4 drones. 4 drones? Yeah. Right, 14, 10. Indeed. So this... I thought the difference would be more pronounced. Right. Getting the drone early, but paying $1 more for it, comes out the same. And if you then buy an engineer on the next turn, that comes out the same. And you're in like the same position, except you've traded more of your income into green stuff than into drones. And sometimes you want that and sometimes you don't. You know, having an extra conduit that you can click to make gold if you want is often good. That's one of the reasons Trinity Drone is good at all, is that like that's a great ability to have. But it can be a downside if you care about the number of drones that you have to defend with, to force field. Or to build more Trinities with, I don't know, in some situations. Or Venges in, you know, a different set than this one, for example. But in a set where there are green things you might want to buy, here, Chieftain, I think this opening is totally reasonable because you can just like sort of stop clicking the Trinities whenever you want green stuff. Now, that's sort of hard to do because it takes away 2 income you've been used to having for a while. But it's easier than having to build a whole conduit to get like 2 green income, which is what I would have to do. Well, 1 conduit gives me 1 green income and I have to stop clicking a Trinity, so it's like... It's easier to transition into building more green stuff this way, even though it's still kind of hard. Whereas this leaves you more drones in more real drones. So thinking about it some more, I think I like my opponent's line better. On the other hand, thinking about it again, I got a second Trinity drone. You don't have to get it now, you can get it later. I don't know, and then they just sort of transpose? I guess. Yeah, so what is like a player 2 Odin line with Trinities actually? Because I feel like this was his chance to stick it to me. Like this, right? Yeah, like this makes my life a lot harder. Doesn't it? If he builds Odin here, he's threatening 7. I do this. Do I need this NG? It's like I have to force field next turn. Because I'll just have 4 defense and absorb 2 on the splitter is 6, and I need 7. So I have to force field, but I don't need the NG if I don't want it. And if I don't get the NG, then I can like buy a Trinity next turn instead of an NG. So he does this. I get mine. No, I can't get a Trinity. I can just get the NG again later, whatever. And, you know, how has this turned out for my opponent? The first Odin wasn't like jaw-droppingly amazing, but it seems to have been fine. And you could get some militias. You can almost get an animus. That hurts. I'd really like an animus here. Huh. Okay, well, let's say he just sticks on blue for a while and gets another drone. Why not? How's my position looking? Well, sort of similar, isn't it? Like I can... No. Why can't I get all the things I got in the real game? Because I force fielded. If I had $2 more here, I could get 2 splitters, and that's what I would have if I hadn't spent $1 on the force field and then harvested 1 less drone this turn. So, opponent getting that Odin a turn earlier costs me my ability to spend all my blue here. Unless... I don't know, what could I have done differently? Yeah, it also cost me like a drone, because in the real game I built a drone here instead of an NG. Yeah, okay, I think this Odin did a good job. A faster Odin does a good job. I'm not sure what my best compromise here is, honestly. Like, probably just get a militia and a drone. Like, we still do need more money. And look at that, he's exactly defended. That's great. Yeah. I can get the bombarder train going, so it's still not exactly easy going for him by any means. But it makes me compromise on a number of things. I guess it gets him less attack. He doesn't get to kill my engineer for free. I don't know. I still somehow wound up with first animus. I probably wasn't aggressive enough playing his turn, right? I should have made... If I thought getting bombarders were so great, I should have made him do it, right? On the other hand, now there's 1 less attack, and I can build my bombarder more easily. I don't know. Anyway, we don't need to get too caught up in this analysis of things that didn't actually happen. But I think this set was all about choosing the right soak. Because that's really like every unit here is soak, sort of, right? I mean, I don't know. That's not true, right? There's a lot of stuff here that wasn't soak. These 4 units are not soak. But they sort of are like... They play themselves, right? You get Trinity drones when you want more money and you have green. You buy militias when you want blue attackers, unless you're dumb and you get splitters like I did. And you get Smorkas, like, fine, you know, not really a soak decision, but you get it when, like, you can't spend your red anymore. And making best use of these 5 units, I think, is the key decider in the set. Like, okay, everyone gets Odin, great. And you might lose by choosing the wrong Odin line, which I don't know, maybe that's what happened to Temron. I'm not sure if it was the wrong line or not. But I don't know, I don't actually have a good reason for having chosen bombarders instead of chieftains. Like, after the game, I was like, oh, yeah, there's a militia. That's why you shouldn't get chieftain. But before the game, I just built bombarder because I like it more than chieftain. And it felt good to put on more pressure. I kind of got lucky getting to exploit this polywall. You know, maybe not that polywall, whatever polywall I exploited. Getting to exploit polywalls and chieftains. And enjoying the relative comfort of my my Bombarder's stamina versus lifespan of a chieftain. Huh. So I don't know. I should have put more thought before the game into which of those two was going to be my main big train attacker. Because it's pretty hard to get both, right? You don't have that much money to do all this. And you need to be buying some prompt defense against all the stuff your opponent's hammering you with. So you don't have this much blue. But you get to pick one, almost certainly. I went with Bombarder, I guess because... Yeah, one of the things I had in mind when I settled on Bombarder, and I don't remember if I talked about it before the game, was that Bombarder is just so cheap. Yeah, I talked about it being a blue sink, right? That sounds familiar. And Odin really appreciates that, because you want, like, Odin's so impactful, you want to rush it out on, like, as few drones as you can get away with, sort of. Which is still a lot of drones, it's an expensive unit, but you don't want to, like, get a ton of drones. And then you're stuck with 3 blue, and, like, it's an imposition if it costs you $8 to spend your blue. And, you know, $8 and 2 green, which is sort of like $10 to spend a single blue. That's one of the problems with Chieftain, I think, is that it costs $10 to spend 1 blue, where Bombarder costs $8 to spend 2 blue. In addition to, like, Bombarder just sort of actually being better once it hits the table. It's easier to spend your tech that way. So, well, that is to say better in this set. If you, like, if you took a random game and said, hey, Alan, would you rather have Bombarder or Chieftain? They're both free. Which one would you like? I don't know, actually. Like, they're really close. Chieftain does 2 damage, then 2 damage, then absorb, soaks for 7, which is like 11. But it also threatens for 2 on the last turn, which is a tiny bit of help. Bombarder does 3 and then 3 damage, and then 4, so that's only 10. But the damage is more front-loaded, but it doesn't threaten on the last turn. But it absorbs, and it doesn't have lifespan, so I don't know, it's all pretty close. But given that I have a lot of blue to spend, and opponent has militias, I think Bombarder is clearly better. I'm also not sure about my Smorkas. Could I not have made that a husk? Why did I get a Smorkas? I keep saying husk, it's corpus. And the reason, no. Because, yeah. Well, I guess some of it was that I had $10. And I can't upgrade this Smorkas into a corpus right now. I don't have the money. If I had clicked another Trinity on the previous turn, I could. I didn't do this on purpose because I was thinking, like, force fields are pretty good. Chieftains are pretty good. I might very well want a lot of green. But here, I actually wanted the $1, I think, because this Smorkas could have been corpus. And then I could, like, click the corpus to produce some soak, and that spends my extra red to let me get a Bombarder without floating any red. I end up getting a Rhino instead, which is like, or well, I would have this turn been able to get a Rhino, I think. Like the game ended here, but supposing I had continued. Oh, that's right. We're exploiting all this stuff. And just losing the Chieftain a turn early, basically. Because clicking it does nothing. And this way opponent can't even exploit its lifespan because I'm holding it a turn early. They'd have to attack for nothing twice in a row to deny me Chieftain soak value. So, anyway, like, what else am I doing this turn? 18 is like, I have 7, I have 10 absorb, a bunch of these. Yeah, I'm already defended, so maybe I wouldn't actually be clicking the corpus anyway, since I don't need the defense. I don't know, I would just buy some more attackers here. Yeah, okay, clearly winning. Anyway, that'll do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.